Hi there, welcome back. It's Hélène with another video. I just finished filming all of my favorite makeup brushes. I hope you will take a look at that video. I will put it up in the cards. I have some surprises in there and some repurposed brushes from other purposes for how I apply my face makeup. Like I said before, and will say again, there are no rules in makeup. We do what we want. And in this case, I have a bunch of brushes to my right, your left, where I have to confess that I am not using them, or I am not using them enough. And I want to declare that fact and explain why, if I know why, and also vow to try them out more and to use them to just figure out why it is that I don't use them, or to really fall in love with them, because I think that a lot of the brushes that I went through that I really love and use practically on the daily is because I learned to use them and practice with them and found my groove with them, so to speak. So I really kind of need to do it with these brushes, but I thought I would go through them and show them to you. Now, the ironic thing about these brushes is that some of them are some of my most expensive brushes, which when you think about it, it's like, why am I not using them? So anyway, let's get into it. I have 9 brushes here, so luckily the brushes I don't use, I have fewer than the brushes I do use, and the brushes I used I had over 20 to go through. So I think I'm going to go with the brushes kind of in the way that makeup would be applied, or at least that I think would be used. So the first couple that I have are from Quo, and it is a large concealer brush and a foundation brush. Now, Quo is a Canadian product. You can find these brushes at Shoppers Drug Mart, and they look like this. So you can see that they're very flat brushes. And so this one is meant for concealer, and then this one is meant just as for cream foundation. Now, I know why I don't use this one, and I don't use this one because I tend to put cream foundation on with my hands. So, and then concealer, I tend to put concealer with my ring finger under my eye and around my nose. So I don't use this brush. Not to say that I wouldn't, but I just don't. I have used these brushes a couple of times when I was using cream color products, but not for, I guess, their intended purpose. So for example, for Halloween or that kind of thing, these brushes are useful, but Halloween doesn't come around often. Or the reason to put like a full mask of makeup doesn't come often. So I think I will keep them, because I could change my mind when it comes to liquid foundation, and I should really just give them a try. So you know what, liquid and concealer. So I'm going to just vow to use these. I'm going to vow to use these maybe for 1 week straight, just to get a feel for it and decide whether or not I like to use these brushes. Very different style for me that I'm not really used to. Now, this one was the Rouge VIB Rouge brush from last year, and it's a very little mini brush, which I don't mind mini brushes. I think that's great, and it's called the Pro Mini Flawless Airbrush 65.5, and it's quite dense. And again, I don't tend to use brushes for foundation, but I think it's C Cosmetic Chaos that suggested that this would be a good brush. She uses it to set her under eye after putting on concealer. So I thought I would use it for that purpose, and I should probably use it for both. I should try it with foundation and also for setting the under eye. But I did say to her in a comment that I would try it for the purpose she uses it for, because it makes sense. I can see how that would be nice, because you can get more precision under the eye with this brush head than you can with a big powder brush. So I will definitely try it. Now, I also have the full size of the Sephora 56, so here it is. So I think this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the big one for the liquid foundation. And actually, no. No, you know what? I'm going to use these guys for liquids. And I'm going to use these guys for powder. So I'm going to use this one to set my under eye, and I'm going to use this one for a powder foundation. That just makes more sense because you want a longer brush for powder foundation, I think, and then the smaller brush for precision work. So that is what, well, precision work, more targeted area. I think that's the better way to say it. So given that I have the two 56s, that is what I'm going to use them for. Speaking of small Sephora brushes, I also have this year's rouge brush. As I mentioned in a recent video, I have gotten to rouge status again this year. And this one is the 55.5, and I do already have this brush, so I'm just showing you this one. The other one I have is kind of a fashion brush more so. This is, like I said, yeah, Pro Mini 55.5. I'll just bring out the other one so you can see both. Okay, so here's the other one. So they're both, as you can see, both the same thing. But I think that I will be using this one first. So given they're both the same thing, I don't see the need to break open both of them, but definitely I should just use my rouge brushes. There's no point in just leaving them hanging around. Now, I think this is also for foundation. I haven't looked it up. I should. It just makes sense to me that these are for foundation, although I could see myself using this for bronzer and blush, to be quite honest. It's quite fluffy. So I think I'm going to just look up this brush and just see what it's for. But I have a feeling I would like it for blush and bronzer. I'll check it out and see what I'm going to use it for, but I am committing to using it, and we'll see how it goes. I really don't find that the stated purpose for a brush necessarily matches what I end up using it for. So I go and look at what the description is, but I often don't follow it. It just gives me an idea of what it might be for. So I'm a novice. Just take it for what it's worth. For contour, I have talked about this brush before. So this happens to be the Kat Von D brush. There is a very similar one in Sephora. So there is the one side that I tend to use for bronzer, and this side that I would tend to use for highlight or blush. They're very soft brushes. I like them, and I know that the only reason I don't use it very often is because it's always in this case, and I have no way to store this type of brush. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use it more by leaving it on my counter just like this, and really using those two sides, because just using it for travel, although that's exactly what I bought it for travel, is great, but I should really be making better use of it at home as well. Brushes last a long time, and it would be nice to get better use out of this one. Especially when some of my brushes are drying or whatever, I should really get into using this brush just as a habit, because that way I have a no-brainer go-to. And I've used it before. It works fine. I just, for some reason, just don't use it. I know why, because it's a little bit inconvenient. I just don't use it as much as I should. A couple of funky brushes from Sephora. This one is the Face Blender. And this is precision contouring. So this is what it looks like. I have no problem with precision contouring brushes. I like them. So when I want a really sculpted look, I will use this one. Not a problem there. I have just been using another brush, which I explained in the previous video, that I used for Hula Quickie Contour. For some reason, I think I would prefer this one for powder. It doesn't feel So it doesn't, yeah. So this one is denser. I think I would prefer this one still for the cream products, and I think I would use this one more for powder products when I want a more targeted application. It would work better than anything else that I have. So, so that's what I'll use it for. One that I am really disappointed that I am not using because it's my best crafted brush out of my whole set is the Sephora Pro Hakuhodo brush from Japan. And the artisan aspects of this brush it's a beautiful, beautiful brush. And I think that I haven't used it because it's a little bit of, it's almost like it's in a beautiful red box. It's almost like it came in a shrine. And I think that I just feel funny about using it, but I really need to crack this brush out and use it. It's just silly to have beautiful products and to just not enjoy them. So I'm going to start using this one as well. It looks very similar to the rouge from this year. It looks very similar to that one. So I may end up using one for one purpose and the other for another purpose, and just see how I like to use this style of brush, but definitely have to crack these two out. And this one, the handle is very, very big, and a lot of my favorite brushes in the part one that I did, they have bigger handles when it comes to face products. So I have no doubt that I'm gonna love this brush. I just have to use it. And we're down to 3 more. This is a gorgeous fan brush from Sephora again, called the Highlighting Fan Brush. And I have used it a couple times. I really like it, but I think because it's not in my, like I'm looking over there because that's where all my brushes are. I think it's because it's not in my general brushes stack. I'm not using it, and I know why I didn't put it into my general brush stack, because I'm worried about messing it up. Like this is very, very fluffy, and what I found was these fibers were getting messed up with other brushes. So I have to find some sort of a solution to be able to store this one with my brushes, because just like this one that I had in my favorites video, it's very fluffy. So if you look at the way the brushes behave, very fluffy, very fluffy. So I know that I would like these two. So I have to, I know I love this one, I use it a lot, but because of how it stands upright, it doesn't get, the fibers don't get messed up by other brushes, but this one, because of its width, it does. So I'm going to find a solution for this because I need to use it. I know I will love it just as much as this one, and they can be backups for each other as far as when one is getting washed, that I can use the other one, and so on. Like I said, it takes 2 or 3 days for a brush, well, usually the denser ones, but let's say 3 days for the dense ones, 2 days for the fluffy ones, for them to really, really dry, where I'm confident that powder products will not just start sticking to them and goop them up. That's my biggest fear, is that you go to the trouble of really deep cleaning your brushes, and then because you don't let them dry enough, they're dirty because the products just goop together, as opposed to just fluffing off as they should for powder products. Hope that makes sense. That's been my experience anyway, as far as when I wash my brushes. But I love this guy. It is beautiful. I can absolutely see how it would dust highlighter on beautifully, just because I know it's doing well with this one, and I will put it into my rotation. Okay, 2 brushes that I am guilty of not using, and I know why, because I keep the caps on, and I don't know why I do that. So I'm going to take those caps off right now and put it in where all my other caps are, which is in my travel case, because when I travel, I put the caps back on for obvious reasons. I don't want to mess up my brushes during travel. Okay, so I have a couple. Ooh, there it goes. So I have a couple of neat brushes. This one is, actually both of them are Sephora brushes. This is the Pro Lash Fan Brush, and this is the 34. And it's a really neat brush, and the purpose for me is very much to help push the lashes into false lashes, but I think that it can be used for other purposes. I also think that it might be okay for tight lining. Yeah, this one is a bit of a mystery to me, but I think I could use it for tight lining as well. So it has a really neat angle. I like that. And I wonder if, yeah, I wouldn't mind trying to tight line with powder products, and I wouldn't mind trying to tight line with gel with this one. I think that's what I'm going to try to do. I like the angle for that. I think that you can really get to different places with it in a way that a straight brush would not allow me to do. So we'll put that one aside for now. And then this one is the flat liner brush. So definitely this one is for liner. Now it is thicker. Yeah, so the flat one is thicker than the fan one, as far as I can tell. And this one is for liner. So I can use it for with powder. I can use it with gel if I want. And just to tight line. Tight line just means going right along the lash line, just to make it look like you have fuller lashes, as opposed to putting on a very clear, distinct line, which of course you can still do. But that's the nice thing about how tapered it is at the end, is because it goes wider, so it's more efficient, but you can really get to go around the lash lines above or below. So I just need to use these more. I've been using other brushes, and these are gorgeous, and I just need to use them. And what else needs to be said? I just need to use them. Okay, I will use them. So there you have it. Those are all the brushes that I either don't use enough or haven't used, and just need, frankly, I needed the kick in the butt to acknowledge it. This is a lot, like a lot of the brushes I'm not using, they are my, some of them are my most expensive brushes, and I'm not using them, and that's just ridiculous. The fact that I spent $31 on this one and I haven't used it is, well, frankly, it's insulting to the creators, and it's, you know, like if we put something out into the world, we hope people use it and appreciate our labors, and I haven't used it, and it's a shame. And I have this habit since I was a kid of not using beautiful things and just coveting them. But the whole point of having beautiful things is to enjoy them. So I'm going to enjoy it, and I will report back. So once I have used all these brushes for a while, I will report back to you, and I'm even going to put some of my current favorite brushes aside if this is a replacement for them, and just force myself to just dig in and use them and enjoy them as I should. Thank you for watching. I hope you found some of this information useful, and if you liked it, please give it a thumbs up. And if you like the content of this video in general, please consider subscribing. I thank you for your time. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. And for now, take care.